Alright YouTube, let's do another one. Saw this time is a 372 XP. This is the older style. It's a non-X torque version. There's some differences in doing the carb, but it's basically the same, so it'll apply for both. I'll try and remember to point out where the differences are. Start by popping the cover. Pop that off. This has the heavy-duty air filter. There's 365 versions and 362 versions on the same platform. We'll have a shallower top cover with air filter that just snaps in. Pretty easy to take apart. This one is the old style, so it's got Phillips head screws holding the cover down, so just zip those out. Oh, Benny. That's Benny the hound dog you hear. Next we'll unhook the choke. Flip that around. Just like that. And then from there, just like in my previous video, pair of hemostats. This front line is the fuel intake line. This rear line is the impulse line from the engine itself. So sometimes fuel pressure does build up in the tank, so we'll just block that off. Use the screwdriver to push the line off. Same with the rear line. Try and do this so you can see it, just like that. Next you have two 3mm, not 4mm, Allen bolts that hold the carb on. Nope. And then from there, I like to remove the bolts, but not the air filter throat. That's just my personal preference. Some might disagree with that, but that's okay. Oh, she's not going to want to come out, so I guess we'll do it that way. The air filter throat is held onto this rubber grommet type bar with two hooks. So you want to get underneath it and pry those hooks out. Just like that one and that one. And then that allows you to lift up the carburetor to unhook the throttle line, hold it full throttle, hold the butterfly with your finger, and then I use a pair of needle nose. Just pop it up, pull it to the side, and then you can remove the carb. She was stuck on there. That was weird. Alright. These carbs have these rubber plastic straw looking bushings that the bolts ride in. So make sure you don't lose those. Don't tear me apart, YouTube, but I am using an aftermarket carb just to test this saw out. If the saw goes good, then I'll replace it with a OEM one. Going in kind of hard. Alright. Put the carb onto the throat like so. pull out the rubber grommet enough to slide the hooks behind it. This part can be kind of a pain sometimes if you haven't done a lot of them. You'll feel like you're going to break the rubber, but chances are you won't. It's pretty rugged. Get that in place like that. Make sure your screws are lined up in place. Tighten down till it clicks. Go the rest of the way with just snug them up by hand. Don't have to go crazy tight because you will break them. Get the fuel line back up. Just like that. I've had mixed luck with these aftermarket carbs. I'm not a fan of aftermarket parts, but I will keep stupid stuff like carburetors hanging around just to test a saw with. But they'll always go back to OEM before they get sold. For the choke, I go in upside down and spin it, but really doesn't really matter. Just like that, spin it around. And click it in without breaking it. Just like that. Put your adjustment screw guide back in place. Everything's there. Cover back on. This is another Franken saw. I do a lot of these. I'll just accumulate junk saws and junk saws and junk saws.